I wanted to share with you before I truly dive in. This is anybody ever heard of the bowl of sake? So, in the Judeo-Christian religions, each of them have their metaphysical arm. So, in Judaism, we have the Kabbalah. In Islam, we have the Sufi, and we are the metaphysical arm of what we call Christianity, of course. And so the bowl of sake is Sufi wisdom, and so it's like writings of like different thinkers through time. So this was one that came today, January 22nd, and it says, "Failure comes when will surrenders to reason." And it says, will is not merely a power, but it is all the power there is. How did God create the world? By will. Therefore, what we call willpower in us is in reality God power, a power that increases by our recognizing its potentiality and proves to be the greatest phenomenon in life. If there is any secret behind the mystery of the world of phenomena that can be learned, it is willpower. It is by willpower that all we do physically or mentally is accomplished. Our hands, with all their perfect mechanisms, cannot hold a glass of water if there is no willpower to support them. If willpower fails, a person seemingly healthy will not be able to stand. It is man's lack of faith that generally causes failures. And in faith is the secret of fulfillment or non-fulfillment. In faith, well, there is no doubt about the fulfillment of a desire if man's faith works with it. But when one's own reason and doubt come and destroy the hope, one generally meets with failure. There are numberless people who are thinking and reasoning all their lives, asking themselves, shall I do this? How can I do that? How can I overcome these obstacles? And all the time they are thinking of the hindrances or waiting for suitable circumstances to arise, and they never do. We are not waiting for the right time to manifest. It is manifest now. You probably, yeah. I'm telling you. My favorite Sufi is Rumi. Anybody know Rumi? Yeah, okay, so we're on the same page. I'm in the right room. So my message today is called Live the Vision, Become the Dream. And this message was prepared before, but when I got here, I realized that you have lived the vision and you have become the dream. And I got so excited because this really is preaching to the choir today. So I just love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. My thesis for you is your God-inspired vision is waiting for you to come true. So really, all that's happening in this exchange today is me providing you language that you may or may not have to talk about what has happened and how this has come to be. Because we are not waiting on the dream to come true. It really is, we should lose that phrase from our lexicon, I don't know the right word, but we should lose it because really what happens is that you come true to the dream. You become a match for the thing that you are asking for. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2, I got to contain my excitement. It says, write the vision and make it plain on tablets that he may run who reads it. In other words, the vision has to be so compelling that when you get a look at it, it just takes off running, right? That's a good vision, right? So stop waiting on your dreams to come true. Dreams do not come true. What really happens is that you come true to your vision. You become a vibrational match for the things that you put on paper. Okay. So I know I'm trying to, Spirit, thank you. Put it in order. So Before the space was identified, tell me if this is true timeline wise. Before the space was identified, there was a preparation period where you were emptying things out of the storage and you didn't even know that this space existed. I hope you get, like, the reason that you take action toward your dream is that you are making changes to yourself. We wouldn't be here if you hadn't taken the action pre even knowing about this space to clean out the storage. The reason that you take action toward your dream is that you are impressing upon your subconscious mind that the thing you desire, you intend to have. The universe does not move until you move. If you don't move, the universe assumes that you are happy with life as it is. Like, that's huge. Because the receiving part is in your hands. The receiving part is not in the hands of the universe. It's in your hands. And when you start clearing the space, from this day forward, declare to yourself that you will no longer wait for your dreams to come true. Instead, you will realize that spirit is waiting on you and not the other way around. And if I'm taking action and the dream hasn't yet manifested, then that's simply a clue that I'm not yet a vibrational match for what I ask for. Last year, I launched a coaching practice. And my coaching practice, I help minister coaches create automated online courses. It's a great coaching practice, right? I know ministry. I coach people like me. So it made sense. But I reached for, and I had the expectation for a massive dream. And I got to the end of the year, and I had clients, but just a few. And then I remembered all those truth lessons. Sherri, if you're reaching for a 10,000 square foot home and you only have a 2,000 square foot foundation, you have to clear the space. You have to become a vibrational match. And everything in your world in this moment is keeping you anchored to where you are. But it's the moving things out of the way that makes the space for it. And so you cleared the storage pod. And mind you, there were other things, prayer and all kinds of other things. But I want to touch on that because it's when we begin to energetically change our environment that we upset the apple cart and stuff pops out. So I rented a dumpster. You know this, Sherri. I rented a dumpster bin. And I filled it. I really thought I only needed one bin, but I think I actually have to do this on a monthly basis, is bring the bin, because it's that much stuff. And so I was sitting writing in my journal, and I said, I wonder what good is going to come, because clearly I reached for the 10,000 square foot home, and I got the 2,000 square foot version. I'm like, well, that's not enough. And so I said, well, let me just start getting stuff out. And I was throwing everything away. And out popped a date. I mean, no, really, it's maybe too much information for you. But for real, you never know what is sitting in your way because you keep your world so static. Remember, how God does anything is how God does everything. So what the Spirit desires to do through you is lavish and abundant as the Pacific Ocean, as lavish and abundant as outer space, as lavish and abundant as any beautiful, perfectly manicured botanical gardens. Like, whatever the Spirit desires to do through you is no less magnificent than anything that the Spirit has done. And so we got to become a match. We have to live the vision and become the dream. Can we say that? Live the vision, become the dream. And it's going to take action. And so I encourage you, who knows what may pop out for you? Go. It didn't cost much. It was $250 to get the bin, and out popped a whole man. I mean, so you want to make that your mantra. And here's what you need to know is that it's not like, that's too much. I'm not going to give you that. I'm going to just give you the 3 things to do. That'd be okay? Yes. So the first thing you want to do is be consistent, right? You want to do something every day toward making that dynamic, God-inspired vision come true. The second thing you want to do is you want to cooperate, because if it's a dream from God, it's going to call in other people. There are no dreams from God that you can accomplish on your own. If you can accomplish it on your own, you can go ahead and say that's not the God dream. Because it's lavish, it's abundant, it's big, right? It's necessarily big because God is infinite. And then point number 3, compensation. All dreams cost money, and it costs more money than you have right now. So, point number 1, consistency. So you want to do something every day toward making your dynamic, God-inspired vision come true through you. Right? So coming true to your vivid vision or to your dynamic God-inspired vision means that you're impressing your subconscious phase of mind. Action is the best way that I'm aware of to impress the subconscious phase of mind. Action is powerful because it arrests the attention and it says this way. And so when you take a positive action, like cleaning out the storage, out comes your good. It was there. Have you ever been in a pool and had a ball and you were trying to keep it under the water, but you had to keep holding it down to keep it under the water? Well, that's what's happening with your good. The things that you have in your life are literally acting like that. And honestly, if you just got it out of the way, it would pop up out of the water. And you would be able to see it. Action is the best imprinter that I know. Action communicates to your subconscious phase of mind, I'm serious about this. When you take action, here, you don't have to believe me. Has anybody ever dieted before? Has it? I didn't mean to bring the energy down. Has anybody ever gotten off track? Oh, yeah. And isn't it easy? Like once you get off track one time, you have one cookie, it's easy to go ahead and have 10. Nobody, just me? Okay, all right. Okay, so action is a serious imprinter because it says something to us, right? And so when you take that action, and honestly, here's the thing. Only intention matters. It doesn't even have to be the quote unquote right action. It just has to be action based on an intention that I intend to have this thing. Does that make sense? Yes. Because the universe is vibrational. So it's not, the universe is not, I don't have the right word, but it's not based on action. The universe is vibrational. And so my vibrational act that I am calling in a whole building, that you do get that if you had to come up with the resources to produce this, in this moment, they didn't exist. These floors, these amazing walls, all of this space. So action begins to make an impression, and it begins to bring forward the seeming impossible. And so what you want to be is consistent, because what you cannot determine is when you tip over into the space of being a vibrational match. Nobody can tell you that, right? No one can say, do it 60 times and then you're in the space of it being a vibrational match. Because for you, it may be 600 times. For someone else, it might be one time. Right? It depends on the openness in the soul. It depends on all the things that are potentially in the way. But what you want to be is consistent. every day like a steady drip. I always say, I shop at Macy's. You know how many times Macy's is in my inbox? Because they want to make sure that I don't forget them. And so, they spend, I know those emails are not free. I mean, I know they might be low cost, but I know that they're not free. They've got staff, they've got writers, they've got designers that are laying the emails out. Like, they've got a whole operation to get in my email inbox every day so that I never forget that they exist. I looked online. I don't have the number here. I looked online. They spent, and I may have the number exaggerated just a little bit, but not by much. They spent $20-some billion in advertising last year. Now, Macy's been around. It's not hard to not remember Macy's. But they want to make sure that when I'm making a choice about where I'm going to shop, that they got a fighting chance with my dollars, right? And so we have to be that way with our subconscious phase of mind. That it's that consistent, steady drip with intention, right? They're not sending me blessings in the each one of them says 50% off. 20% off, right? Each one of them has a very specific intention, right? So this is daily action with intention toward what you are calling forward. It is not the quality of the action, it is the intention back of the action. You want to develop what we call a bias toward action. Sometimes, you guys ever heard of LODI? Yeah. Law of diminishing intentions? Oh, yeah, you thought it meant Lodi, California. No. LODI, the law of diminishing intentions. Anybody ever go to a conference and you heard some good stuff and you took copious notes? And then one day you discover that notebook with all those copious notes in a drawer with dust on it, right? The moment to take action is right now. Because, people say, I'm going to start a diet, but I'm going to start on Monday. Because the further you get away from the point of decision, it's the law of diminishing intention. And so what you want to do is develop a bias toward action. I think it and I take action. I think it and I do something. I'm not going to start the exercise program on Monday. True, the gym may not be open today, but guess what? I can do 2 sit-ups today because I'm making an impression in the subconscious phase of mind to say, I'm serious about that. What keeps us from taking action is that we have our eye on the wrong thing. Because that's what happens with the law of diminishing intention. It just has time for other things to catch your attention, right? We have our eye on the wrong thing. No one can say which action is going to be the action that tips the vision out of the invisible into the visible. No one can say which action or which activity is going to be the one that makes it all come together. And so we have to learn to take action no matter what. It's the daily, I learned this so much with the coaching practice because at one point I was running ads and people were coming in and signing up and then the ads got turned off and I was like, well, and so now I have this email list, but I had to just continue to send out daily communications. And do you know, without spending any additional ad dollars, people have reached out to join the coaching practice. Yes. Because it's the daily action. It's daily. Was it Seinfeld that talked about writing jokes and he put a calendar on the wall and he would mark off the day every time he wrote a joke, and the whole thing was like, just don't break the chain. Don't get to a day that you don't write a new joke. Now, of course, today we call him a comedic master, right? But not on day one with that first joke. Right? He might have been funny among friends, but not funny in a universal, appeal to me that's not his demographic kind of way. And so we want that daily, consistent action because it's the intention. I'm becoming a match for who it is. You want to learn to associate action with the process of becoming a vibrational match. Here's what I mean. What I mean is that many times we associate the action with the result. And so then if we take the action and don't get the result, we quit. So what we want to do is rewire the way that we think about it, and we want to associate the action with becoming a vibrational match. Every action that I'm taking, I'm becoming the person who can have. Every choice that I make, I'm becoming the person that can be, right? And so I commit to action regardless. Everything I do makes me a match for the desired end result. I'm not worried about when it will happen. And I may have to say that out loud. I'm not worried about when this is going to happen. I deliberately send this email today. Nobody may respond, but it's leaving my inbox today because that's part of the marketing process. Is it making sense? Yeah. Point number 2, cooperation. So if it's a dream from God, it necessarily calls for others to be involved. I should say full stop. Continually identify partners who can collaborate, corroborate, or concentrate with you in coming true to your dynamic, God-inspired vision. Every dream that God gave requires a team. If a team is not required, it's not from God. And God is everywhere, right? God is all. But you understand what I'm saying. I'm saying that what God wants to do through you is big, right? What God desires to do through you is bigger than who you are today, because that's the process of becoming. It's the process of opening up. And so we have some stinking human thinking that clouds the airways. Right? And we celebrate this. And this is big for us in the U.S. because we celebrate the singular person. But the truth is that any person that's standing atop any mountain, there's a sea of people that were a part of enabling that to happen. Dreams require the cooperation of others. That they necessarily put us in relationship with others. It really does not pay to be a misanthrope. Because everything that you want to do is going to require the assistance of someone. Now, sometimes they can be people who are not with us. Many people have left behind. I think one of the most beautiful things about having your biography written or writing an autobiography is that you leave your accomplishments for the next generation to study. I think all of us should be writing our life stories. But collaboration, it means to work with others on a project, to create something in conjunction with others. Who can you collaborate with on the dream that you have? Who can you involve? They may not come and be a part of the full final manifestation. They may be a part of one portion of the delivery of the dream or the delivery of the vision. Oh, I love this. So if you remember, this was a few years ago, those of you that were on the board at the time, we met at Reverend Stacy's home and mapped out a whole plan. Right? You don't know who is a part of it at any particular time. Everybody has its season. And so you never get married to someone needing to stay a part of the delivery process, because some people are just there for the portion that they're meant to handle. And then they leave through whatever reason, or that they leave hopefully it's amicable. But they're not meant to be there for the whole time. And so this is why I love the faith song. She says, hold to the vision. What happens is that we get the vision and then we hold to people. And that's just not how it works. That's not how God works. To corroborate means to strengthen a theory, an idea, or a finding, or a fact with supporting evidence. You need people in your corner to encourage you. Through their engagement, you get signs and clues that what you heard Spirit say is what you heard Spirit say. You get those God bumps, right? Corroborators don't have to be people that you know. They can be authors, they can be speakers. There's a wealth of information that's out there. But you want to set up your day so that you are consistently getting information that encourages you, that pushes you to go forward. And you want to bake that in, because sometimes you can get into things that are salacious, right? It touches a spot in us that may be open to gossip. Not y'all, but the people that you know, those people. And so, you go from one YouTube video to the next. How could this guy do this? He lied about everything. Who is? I don't know. Not y'all. Okay. And so you want to make sure that you bake into your day information. So whether you have a steady reading habit, or you have a weekly mastermind call, but something that is dialing you back into you, and dialing back into you to the vision that you have for yourself. And then concentrate. Who's on your success team that can help you remain concentrated on the vivid vision, on the God-inspired dynamic vision? Here's the thing. Life comes up. Life comes up. Life events happen. And so what you want to have is a success team that helps you to stay on track and to stay committed to the vision. What are the structures in your life that help you keep your eye on the prize? Does that make sense? And my last point is compensation. All dreams cost money, and they cost more money than you have right now. No matter how noble the cause, some money will need to be spent on the dream. There's more stuff on this screen, but you really want to get that, and because sometimes we won't take action because we don't have all of the resources to accomplish the thing. And so we sit in the unfulfillment of the dream because I don't have the $2,000, the $10,000, the $1 million, or whatever the number is to accomplish the thing that I'm setting out for. When in actuality, I'm only meant to take the daily action and take the action that I can take. And it makes it so. Again, I point out this building. If you had to deliver this building, it would have been a hard no. But you took the steps that made you a vibrational match, and the means by which you could have this building came into being. It occurred to me that God must be aware that dreams cost money. If every dream costs money and it costs more money than you have right now, then God must know, the energy intelligence must be aware of this, right? And if God knows that the dream given to me costs money, then the money for the dream must be available somewhere. That's it. And so no longer can I say things like, I can't afford that. Instead, we want to ask, how does God want me to pay for this? Sometimes it may be in the form of receiving assistance. Sometimes it may be in the form of a gift. Sometimes it may be in the form of an idea that then leads to the resources. But we have to move with the intention that God has this figured out. And I don't have to be that stressed about it. That the resources to accomplish this are with me right now. And again, Exhibit A. Are we not sitting in? Do the work. You wouldn't hire an architect and ask her to construct a home for you without a clear plan. You are the builder of your tomorrow. And so what you want to do today is really dial into a plan. If you've already done your vision boards for 2023, or if you haven't, this is the day to sit down and name, what do you desire? Because you are powerful beyond measure. You have it within you to create anything. And so you want to put it down on paper. And then you want to begin to look for, what is that one consistent thing that I can do? Remember, it's not the quality of the action, it is the intention behind the action. And so it could be something as simple as, I am going to get up every morning at 6 a.m. and meet with God to talk about this idea. Right? It's not about the grandiosity. It is about the intention that is behind it. That I intend to have what I have seen in my imagination. What I have seen in my imagination is mine, and I can have it. And then cooperation. Who are those cooperators that are going to be a part of bringing this dream forward? And then finally, compensation. Yes, it's going to cost more money than I have right now. That has nothing to do with the realization of it. I know that my Father, Mother God has a way, and so I'm going to move with the attitude that whatever it is that I need shall be revealed to me in due time. Thank you so much.